got here is the few things that I believe I will need to do a fuel pump rewire, which I should have done already. It could have saved me quite a bit of grief.
1 sec. 1 sec, sorry.
Fuel pressure. What was it?
I don't know.
Boom! But better now than never. I am going to be using this Fuel Tech fuse and little block thing. This is a 40 amp fuse. On the posts, I'm gonna put a wire going directly to the battery, a wire going to a grounding point. The other 2 pins are going to be either side of a wire I'm going to have to cut that's currently running between my PDM and the fuel pump. Instead, I'm going to be using one side as the trigger wire and the other side as the link to the fuel pump, the receiving signal wire, whatever. All right, yep, so might as well get to it. This is softer material, it's speaker wire, but it should work fine. I'm gonna take care of the side going into the relay first. It's kind of annoying how soft this wire is. Alright, so pin 30 is positive and pin 85 is ground. 85 is at the top, 30 is on the right side. I had to whip out another fuse for reference, but it is now set up, and now I just have to figure out the correct configuration for the trigger setup, and this will be a pretty quick install. Cut power. I went ahead and heat shrunk the grounds connection up near the relay because the wire's kind of soft and I don't want it to fray too easily. I'm kind of hoping that this will help it stay together. But I also added ring terminals for both positive and negative. This is going to go to my trunk mounted battery. This is going to go to somewhere on the unibody, probably under where the rear passenger seat would be. It's a good thing we're checking things out back here because I was able to just pull this right off the power connection for the power steering pump. Gonna fix that, and then it's gonna share this post with the relay. Steering pump's ground. I'm gonna have to tuck these wires better if I'm gonna actually remove the seats. Now the big question is, am I gonna have to extend the wires to the fuel pump down here? I'm realizing this is not a ground for the controller. It's not a ground at all. I bet the controller will work if I ground it here too. 2 birds, 1 stone. Let's give it a shot. Oh yeah, I disconnected this so I could reach the fuel pump wire. Alright, I hate to do this sort of thing, but apparently I am out of green 16 gauge wire, so I'm gonna have to use white 16 gauge wire to wire up the triggers for the fuel pump. I really hope I got this right. 86 is trigger wire, 87 is fuel pump. But I am gonna go ahead, cut the fuel pump wire, go ahead and strip it. This is the trigger side. This is already wired to the fuel pump. Pretty confident I'm accurate on this. Okay, and that leaves what I believe is 86. Just for clarification, the reason I'm doing this despite having a PDM is because the fuel pump is still drawing too much voltage for the PDM to handle on its own. I've got it going to a 25 amp output. Come to think of it, I could have combined 2 outputs and had a 50 amp fuse, but I didn't think of that in time. I literally thought of it just now. So instead we're doing the classic rewire, whatever. So it's all rigged up. I could mount it somewhere. If I don't put the seat back, it could live on the wall here. But if I do put the seat back, I'm gonna have to figure something else out. For now, let's just verify that I set it up properly and that it actually triggers the fuel pump. Hey, it worked. It worked already. But just for clear confirmation, I'm gonna set the fuel pump to always on when power's on. We should see that light up again. Always enabled. Check that out. Timed. All right, that's the fuel pump rewire. Real quick, out of pure curiosity, I have my power steering pump back there set up to kick on when the fuel pump is running for more than 3 seconds. So I'm gonna go ahead and see if the controller now works. Now that I've presumably properly grounded it. Just give it 3 seconds. How about that? Turn up. Let's go! I have control over the feedback speed of the power steering pump now too. How about that? And that's kind of just a byproduct of understanding wiring a little better after all the back and forths I've had over the past few months. That's awesome. Okay, so this new stage of the car is gonna be so much fun. I'm actually thinking I could live right here without issues. Just straight going for it, hanging right here. And I am actually thinking of putting back the rear seat because it's just too ugly back here to leave all these wires exposed. Well. We're all put back together, and the only remaining evidence of what we changed is in the form of this right here. All right, I finally decided how I'm going to mount the coolant overflow reservoir on the car, and I've already set it up here in the vise. You'll see what it looks like in the car when I'm done. In the meantime, let's just get straight into welding. Maybe a little questionable, but it's fused. It's pretty solid. Like everything else I've welded and grinded, it's not going to be the prettiest thing in the world, but I am thinking of sitting it right here. I used the bolt holes that previously went to the radiator. You've got to be kidding me. No! Aw, sheesh. I could have made it sit lower. Oh. Wow. Alright, instead of going lengths to modify the entire thing, I just found a new home for it. Right here, and it seems like it may actually be a good one. Just have to work on the logistics here a bit. Steven pointed out that the angle of the Wastegate dump tube was a potential risk, and it would be smarter to point it straight down. It took me a couple revisions to make sure it was pointed in the right direction. So I have adjusted the Wastegate dump so it goes further down, straight down, and it's far less likely to have any sort of contact with the oil return line coming from the red. So more peace of mind about that. That's definitely for the best. I've also got my heat wrapped exhaust here. I've got one more exhaust pipe to heat wrap, and then maybe we'll get to some of the fun stuff. Alright, check it out. We've got fully wrapped exhaust pipes, and our Wastegate dump looks pretty good, pointed straight down at the ground. I wish this wasn't so ugly. I thought I sprayed soapy water on it, and maybe that is what it is, and it is just a bit of rust, but I'm so annoyed. I could take a good picture right now, but whatever. I think it's time to see how the car does now. So I think my strategy is going to be start the car, check to see if there are any leaks, sort out the tune at idle, and then I'll decide whether to drop it back down onto the front wheels as well, and whether we try and roll it out of here after that. We'll just see how those few things go first. For some reason I was having fuel pressure issues now. I figured maybe the grounds were dirty, so I went back and grinded off some paint for better contact. Unfortunately, no dice. Before I go tearing up all my work again, I'm going to go ahead and put some more E85 in the car, because the pump does sound a little weird anyway when it's on. It could just be that my fuel level sensor is not very accurate right now. Okay, it kind of sounds better already. Ooh, yeah. That's way better. It's at 49, need to bring it down. Gonna help it out a bit while it warms up. Right on target. Well, here we are. This is it. It's time to pull this thing out of the garage for the first time in, what, almost 5 months. And I'm terrified. Cannot lie. I'm absolutely terrified. I'm not going very far. Gonna just go for a little whirl around the driveway and see how it fares, and then we'll decide whether to take it to the streets. Currently, there are no leaks, no outstanding issues as far as I can tell, at least critical issues. I've got little stuff I've got to button up here and there, and it's dirty as heck. right now. But fingers crossed this goes well, because this is a day I've been waiting quite a while for. That looks pretty mean.
Last year, when I would do a run with the internal gate setup, I was faced with relentless boost creep all the way through the rev range that we couldn't manage to control no matter what we tried. In stark contrast, my externally gated compound turbo setup is already hitting its targets exactly, limited by the combined 15-pound springs in the Wastegate housings. It also hits that target much sooner, delivering full power by 4,500 RPMs rather than the tippity top of the car's rev range.
Bit of boost into it. All right, we are hoping that all that smoke is just the recent application of this titanium heat tape. Got a couple of leaks still, but my goodness, the car is an entirely different car. I cannot put into words what I just experienced, and I shouldn't film it either. I should save it for the trap. This thing is a monster. So tuning is going well. It's responding the way that we anticipated it would. Obviously, massive credit to Steven for everything from the idea to his part in helping this whole thing come together, and it's absolutely incredible. However, we ran into a small issue. Besides the fact that the wrap is still smoking a bit, and I've got some minor leak down here somewhere that I've still got to track down, and I've got this ugly rust from whatever I accidentally sprayed on here. So sorry for ruining what was a perfectly pretty manifold. You come over here, our buddy old pal alternator decided it was done. And it didn't happen in the middle of a pull, which is fortunate. You don't want that to happen in the middle of a pull. I'm just happy I was logging, otherwise I would be so confused. On my way back, I could see on the log that the alternator stopped charging. I don't know if it seized or something, but whatever it is that happened, I'm gonna have to pull off the intake manifold, which is the annoying thing about this. I literally did not move my alternator before because I didn't want to have to remove the intake manifold just to be able to reach the alternator, but it is what it is. Test it, see if I have to have it rebuilt or if I replace it. Maybe I go back to a stock alternator. I have no idea, but the setup works. It's absolutely incredible, and I guess this is a good place to end this part of the build process, this video. Still got plenty to do, plenty of goodies to show you, and the car still has a few significant upgrades that need to be installed, but you're gonna just have to wait until the next episode and see. Thank you for watching.